Alright, we are reacting to when Canadians find a dead alien. Let's get right into this. Alright, number one, you are not gonna tell me that this is an alien, bro. It looks like they chopped off a doll face, put it onto like a sculpture or something. That is not no alien. Alright, that one was more like an alien, I would say. That was actually close. Let's just see what they say about the aliens though. This was 1992. God damn.
Over a decade ago, a very strange video emerged on the internet. It shows a recording of photographs taken in 1992 in
Why does that look like it's in a cave? And now it looks like it's fucking floating in water, bro. This shit does not look real.
Quebec, Canada. Those photographs depict what appear to be a short naked corpse of a gray alien. What is also mysterious is how little information exists on this case. And so, I did a deep dive.
Because it's not real, no way. That has to be fake. Like,
The footage itself is 1 minute and 21 seconds long.
is that underwater?
It was uploaded by the YouTube channel called Étrange Videos in 2008 and again in 2013.
Alright, where the fuck is this, bro? This is so fake. Why is there so many floating shit in the sky? Like, are they in space?
And
Where
also
is
included
this?
detailed comments from the uploader, giving context on its origin and claiming to be the one who did the recording. In total, there are 10 photographs of the corpse, and 3 other pictures to provide context. The first one is a depiction of grays from an abduction account in a book, including the Charles Moody case from 1975. The second is a title screen saying Hiver 92, l'Annonciation, which translates to Winter 92, and l'Annonciation being a municipality in Quebec, Canada. The third
I don't know
picture is a
what
map
they were just
with the
saying.
location of the finding, Riviera
Not
Rouge.
gonna lie.
The last picture, curiously, is a drawing, or rather a petroglyph from Uzbekistan, showcasing what appears to be a luminous man. It was used by Eric von Daniken, specifically in his book Chariots of the Gods.
That looks
Von
like
Daniken is
every
best known for his books on
average
alien
old
influence on
fat
early
white
human
guy, not
civilization,
gonna lie.
more commonly known as the ancient alien hypothesis, which is likely why it was included in the footage. The uploader, claiming to be the person who recorded this and uploaded it to YouTube,
Oh yeah, this
provided
is fake.
detailed context for where he or she got these photos from and
Makes the fucking profile picture the alien. Number one, they make the picture of the alien that was like the fake looking one. Then the video is an actual looking alien
their attempts at
that
making them
might
public.
also be fake.
The uploader writes, in the winter of 1992,
I thought
while I was
they-
living in Montreal,
Didn't
a
they
friend
make
of
like
my
a
former
prop
roommate came to our
alien,
apartment to show
and
us some
that's
strange
what
photos.
it looked like?
These showed what appeared to
I
be
feel like
a
they're just
creature of
taking it
unknown
too
origin,
far, bro.
an extraterrestrial biological entity, or EBE, apparently lifeless, discovered by a snowmobiler, or perhaps two, in a field or wooded area not far from the road. This friend stated the photos were from his cousin
So what?
and were
Did it
taken in Riviera
freeze
Rouge
to
in
death?
l'Annonciation, Quebec, which is the circled place on the map. The snowmobiler, or one of them if there were more, retrieved the camera and began snapping photos.
Ooh,
The other witnesses in the photographs arrived later by car. They then
not a
wrapped
bad
a cable
camera.
or a rope under the arms of the corpse and used a branch to lift it up, hoping to avoid touching it. Strangely, they said they left the body out overnight, and when they returned the next day, it was gone, possibly taken by coyotes or other wildlife. This anonymous uploader then writes, we then asked him what he planned to do with the photos. He told us he would try to contact someone in the field of ufology to try to solve the mystery. Before he left, I quickly grabbed my video camera and recorded the photos one by one. Later, this friend informed the uploader that he contacted Claude McDuff.
So apparently they find an alien, they leave it, and it's gone. That just sounds like some fake made up lie. Like they made a fake alien and then just put like pictures online and say it ran away when they probably just have that stuff fucking doll in their fucking basement or
an
some
author
shit.
in the field of ufology, and one who had written a book called The Trial of the Flying Saucers, which was an investigative nonfiction approach to UFO sightings and encounters, focused primarily in Quebec, Canada, using compiled eyewitness testimonies and accounts from the early 1970s. However, Macduff informed this friend to not go public or attempt to make any money with the evidence because, as he saw it, it would almost guarantee being discredited and humiliated, possibly in a public way. In any case, we were very surprised by the former ufologist's conclusion. Not wanting to be taken for kooks or crackpots, we simply decided to keep it to ourselves, as a sort of secret. We showed the video privately to close friends with open minds, but not to the public. Like many witnesses of unexplained phenomena, I also feared that if I showed the video to the public, people would end up mocking us. And so the tape was kept as a secret between this friend group, and shown only occasionally to people who they trusted. However, this did change. Fast forward 17 years later to 2008. In October 2008, around 17 years after the photos came into my life, I finally decided to try my luck at solving the mystery. Lacking the equipment to convert the VHS of the EBE photos into a digital file, I had to film the VHS footage with my digital camera by recording it off the screen of my tube TV.
Alright, so that camera that they showed at first, definitely not the camera. Because if these pictures were taken back in 1992, those pictures are not coming out as good as the camera that they showed at first. That is not the camera that they were using. They probably used the waterproof fucking cameras that you take or that you used to see like years ago. The small green cameras that people would keep and take pictures off of. Like, bruh, come on.
I then uploaded the video online through the video sharing site YouTube. Thanks to this format, anyone can remain anonymous, and by avoiding judgment, share their stories or discoveries in peace. From there, the video was briefly picked up within ufology circles, but not to the degree that the uploader had initially hoped. They write, "To help witnesses come forward or encourage investigators to take an interest, I included the email address etrangevideos@yahoo.ca at the bottom of the video description on YouTube. Strangely, at first, only one Quebecois investigator came forward, a certain Mr. Morin from Avenue, Quebec. He published the details of the case on his website, where I used the pseudonym Mr. R. In December 2008, a journalist from a local newspaper in Riviera Rouge wrote an article about the video. We stayed in touch by email, in case any witnesses pictured in the photos eventually came forward.
Why is
In January 2009, I reached out to another investigator. However, he declined to investigate, mainly because the only proof I had was the VHS. In 2013, I received an email from a Mr. Garcia in Mexico who worked for a TV show called Tercer Milenio, or Third Millennium. He wanted a Skype interview, which I immediately declined due to my desire to remain anonymous. By January of 2016, the 2008 upload had amassed well over 400,000 views. That same month, a YouTuber named NewBeat2012 uploaded a detailed breakdown of the tape called Authentic Alien Grey EBE Footage Analyzed, Quebec, 1992, which was specifically mentioned by the uploader. I looked into NewBeat2012, and thanks to the Wayback Machine, I found that NewBeat did indeed exist, as did his video, which was also available. In the video, he explicitly talks about the anatomy of the being and how much detail it had, a bit more than what would have been expected from an amateur
Wait, so when did New Beats post this video? Was it like years after this video was posted? Like 2016, I thought I saw? Or what, did he post it 2008 where the video was originally posted onto YouTube? Like, this shit just seems so fucking confusing.
Prop maker in 1992, especially for a hoax. In his video, NewBeat looks at 5 distinct areas: the neck, the legs, pectorals, arms, and torso, and shows that these areas have a great deal more of detail than what otherwise a simple hoax may require. Now, naturally, This is difficult to fully claim given the low quality of the original video, but you do seem to be able to make out distinct details of the neck, as he shows here, along with the shoulder area, and a
like
clear
a
view of the
big
sternomastoid,
bony
more commonly
skeleton.
recognized as the V-shaped muscles you see connecting from behind the ear down to your collarbone, and what may be a coracobrachialis, pectorals, and abdominals. But what I found most interesting was his analysis of the legs, which genuinely do seem to have a lot of muscle definition. When props of aliens are made, there is usually some basic musculature included, some of which would be the same areas that Newbeat 2012 highlighted, but this one stood out the most. You can see what appears to be fairly recognizable muscles comparable to a human leg, and that begs the question, would a prop for a hoax in the early days of YouTube require this much detail? Here, he inverts a close-up of the body, and you can see what looks like, at first, wrapping, but I don't believe this is wrapping. I believe it's peeling, blistering outer skin. Schizo checkpoint ahead. A tinfoil hat.
So what they're saying is they found an alien while it was shedding its skin and it was stiff and couldn't move. So while it finished shedding, it left no skin behind and it ran away, apparently.
That is required beyond
This is
this
the
point,
theory?
because
Really?
we're going in one level deeper. In 2023, an alleged whistleblower came forward on r/aliens discussing in depth the anatomy of gray alien corpses he studied on behalf of the US government. It became rather
Fucking to
infamous in
aliens
ufology
being
circles
green,
for how
bro.
detailed
Why
the
are
science
they, like,
presented
coming
behind
out
their
gray
biology was.
Whenever people say they found an alien,
This post
bro.
was even covered by AJ from the Y-Files in a 1 hour, 30-minute stream on his channel, The Y-Files Backstage.
The guy who posted it, whoever he was, or she, he reads like a man.
Now, this case will get its own video, as I have a lot to say on it, but for now, I only want to pick out the crucial details and compare them to this case. This alleged whistleblower on Reddit wrote, "The gray skin that is often described in folklore is in fact a biosynthetic film which, likely, serves to protect the EBO, or extra biospheric organism, from a hostile environment. It doesn't provide effective protection against temperature changes, but it does offer adequate protection against the passage of liquids. It's possible that this film confers other advantages, but my knowledge on the subject is limited. Under the gray film, the epidermis is rather white, and the texture is very regular and without any hair. So, from my perspective, it may be possible that this wrapping we see is the outer skin coming apart. In fact, a lot of the physical details of this corpse match this man's account. For instance, he also wrote, the head contains two...
Or it could just be a fake fucking alien and they wrapped it with like newspapers and painted it gray. Like, bro, they're not thinking hard enough. Like, if you just think and put pieces together, when have you ever heard of an alien shedding skin, bro? I don't think that's even possible for an alien to do that. Maybe because they say they're reptiles, but we're reptiles basically. We're no, we're not reptiles. That's completely wrong. Holy shit! But I don't. Does all reptiles shed skin, or could other animals that are not reptiles shed skin still?
large,
I don't,
oversized
I
eyes,
don't know all this.
2 nostrils without
I'm
protuberance,
not no
a
scientist.
narrow mouth
Okay?
without lips, and 2 ear canals without auricles. There is a mandible, but the musculature is vestigial. There are no teeth or tongue in the oral cavity. So what we see in the video
So it has no
is
teeth
essentially
or
an exact
tongue.
match. 2 large eyes, basically a flat nose, a very narrow lipless mouth, no ears, and a...
Those eyes do not look the same as those. I'm telling you, this looks like a doll face. Fake eyes. These look like actual fucking... these ones look like actual fucking aliens. Gray, skin tight sealed, fucking big heads, but also don't
Small
fucking
jaw.
know.
This is what he wrote about the eyes. Like the skin, the eyes are covered with a semi-transparent biosynthetic film that offers the same environmental protection while providing protection against certain wavelengths and light intensity. When the film is removed, a more traditional eye is revealed. It's about 3 times larger than a human eye, and there are no eyelids.
A pupil?
In
the
other
pupil?
words, the black eyes of the gray
shouldn't-
are just very large human-like eyes with a dark film cover
Shouldn't
to them.
aliens be
No different than
looking
how
like
you or
that?
I would wear sunglasses.
Their eyes fully
Interestingly,
pupils or some
this may be
shit?
seen in the video where we see what appears to be the whites of eyes being visible. Then again, this also could be snow. So the eyes of the alien are, in other words,
Yup.
noticeably large, but not
Definitely
comically
snow.
so, as shown in the media. Now, humans naturally
Thinking anything but saying it's a fake fucking alien. It has white pupils. Definitely not no fake eye. Oh, he was buried in the snow. It's snow. Like, no, bro.
form caricatures of things in their mind, using things that most define a person. So, for instance, if you met a person with a large nose and were asked to visualize them later, you may imagine it as being comically large. Same with the ears, eyes, etc. We see this in cartoons all the time, being that we exaggerate bodily proportions. So perhaps, is this also true of gray aliens and their black eyes? Lastly, I want to bring up another detail that is easy to overlook. In the photographs, it appears that the head is being
So they're
articulated and
saying
moved around,
When they
which would open up
made
many
up
implications.
aliens,
A body,
they made
especially
it
a naked one,
cartoony
would
and
begin to freeze solid after death
eyes,
within
big
6 hours
pupils.
due to the exposure to a winter
Then
in
they
Quebec.
say,
Meaning either this body was very
now
freshly
this
dead,
is what the
or
aliens
that if this was a
are
hoax,
apparently
they made an
supposed to
articulated
look
dummy
like.
for what would
I don't
only be
understand
photographs,
this shit. This
which
shit's
would make
so
no sense.
confusing, chat.
Now, this uploader closes out their account stating that a book on this mystery is now in the works. It is unknown the progress, or lack thereof, on this, given that the last comment from this channel was 5 years ago.
God damn.
Now, here's an interesting detail.
That's probably
This
like
2008 video isn't on the channel, but I confirmed it existed on the
28, so
Wayback
that
Machine.
means
A screenshot
that
of the
means
channel was also
18
posted
years
by a
ago
Reddit
this
user,
was
Problem
posted.
Kunde, in 2022, in r/SkinnyBob, discussing the gray alien similarity to the alleged footage of a gray dubbed Skinny Bob. In the screenshot of the channel, the video is there. But if you use the link to get to it, you
There's
get greeted
two
with
different
this.
videos.
This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by AVI MOAS. Now, who is AVI MOAS? I don't know.
No clue.
I found only one copyright claim by them, and it was this video. I couldn't find a single thing about them. I wish I had more information to share with you, but
So
that's where the trail
blurry.
ends. So, what is my perspective on this case?
Alright, let's
Well,
see this.
there are so many unknowns here that it is almost impossible to verify anything. But then again, that's the world of ufology. You have to fundamentally read between the lines because there's no map to guide you. Perhaps this really is just a very well-made prop for a student movie. Or perhaps this really was a one-in-a-million scenario, and people really did stumble upon a fresh alien corpse. However,
That's
the idea that people would leave a
so
child-sized
unlikely,
corpse
though.
alone overnight without contacting emergency services and going, whoops, is quite a bit odd. And the inclusion of the petroglyph by the uploader at the end would imply that he or she has a pre-existing interest in ufology, potentially prior to coming into contact with these photographs. Or, if they are a hoax, it was a motivation to inspire and create the photographs and video. On the other hand, it does bear a striking resemblance to another case that I find to be genuinely very legitimate. But unfortunately, we
So why
can't
are we
stare at
not
this case in a vacuum
studying that
for
clip
1,000
instead of
hours
this
and
one?
deduce it to be a hoax or not. We are left to play detective here, and we have to interconnect what comes down to only maybes and find commonalities and consistencies between other cases, as UFO researchers do, as in fact any detective does. As new information comes out which we can compare it to, only then can we look back at it and affirm it as true or a work of fiction. Quite literally, only time will tell, and sometimes exploring the paranormal requires a bit of faith and shameless curiosity.
Paranormal?
I would like to end this
What is
video
this,
with
a
this last
fucking
passage
ghost
from the
hunted
uploader.
spirit video?
As we
Like,
know, there are far too many skeptics when it comes to unexplained phenomena, and they're often armed with prestigious degrees, making people more inclined to believe them and thus ridicule honest witnesses, just to feed their own egos and sleep better at night. In fact, as investigative journalist Christian Robert once said, in similar cases, the media far too easily accepts these so-called explanations of experts who often know nothing about the case but justify their involvement by citing their diplomas.
wow.
Hey, this is Lately. Thank you for listening to my first.
Yeah, I got a diploma. I know this is an alien. Yeah, I definitely know. This diploma tells me everything, bro. Alright, that's the end. We out. On to the next one.